my dear child. Have you ever paused in the quiet of your heart and questioned where true, unending life really comes from? In a world filled with chaos and uncertainty, people often look to temporary pleasures and momentary thrills for a sense of being fully alive. But I want you to know, there is a far deeper, lasting source of life than anything you could find in fleeting experiences or earthly success. I am the resurrection and the life. I see how your heart longs for purpose, peace, and a joy that doesn't slip through your fingers with time. I invite you now to slow down, take a deep breath, and listen as I speak to you about the reality of who I am. The life I offer is not a shallow promise. It is an eternal wellspring that refreshes every part of your being. When you turn toward me with openness and humility, I fill you with my life. This is not an abstract theory, but a living truth, a powerful force that transforms your perspective on everything from daily tasks to the greatest trials you face. The world chases illusions that cannot satisfy, yet here I stand, arms open wide, offering abundant life to anyone willing to receive it. I understand that you have many questions about how life unfolds, how circumstances sometimes seem random or harsh, and how the path forward can be unclear. The truth is, my paths are beyond tracing out. Even when you think you have things figured out, there is always more that your mind cannot grasp. Some people become angry or resentful when they find themselves unable to comprehend my ways. But I encourage you instead to bow in reverence, acknowledging that I am infinite and you are finite. I do not speak these words to belittle you or diminish your value. On the contrary, you are precious to me, and I cherish you so deeply that I want you to learn the joy of living in mystery and wonder. When you let go of the need to analyze every turn your life takes, you create space for my peace to flourish. You make room in your heart for the recognition that I am the Lord who holds the entire universe together. Trust does not hinge on having every answer. Rather, it blooms in surrender, in the acceptance that some things remain hidden for now, while others have been graciously revealed. You see, there was a time when much of what you now understand about salvation, hope, and eternal life was shrouded in mystery. Generations longed to see and comprehend what you have the privilege of knowing. Through my incarnation, death, and resurrection, I uncovered mysteries that had been hidden for ages and generations. The New Testament writings capture these revelations, describing the abundant life that springs from my work on the cross and the empty tomb. Even though you live in a time of incredible spiritual insight, there are still aspects of my plan and my ways that surpass human understanding. That doesn't mean you should stop exploring or seeking truth. It simply means that your pursuit of knowledge must be paired with humility. There will always be places where you reach the edge of what your mind can fathom. In those moments, you can rest, confident that I hold the answers. And you do not need to carry the weight of knowing everything. I watch as people chase after youth or possessions, hoping these pursuits will satisfy their longing for eternal life. They accumulate wealth or obsess over external beauty to delay the march of time, believing that if they can maintain youthfulness, they have some measure of control. Yet life slips away no matter how tightly one tries to grasp it, because all finite things eventually fade. My invitation to you is radically different. Come to me, take my yoke upon you, and let me fill you with my very life. This is not a command to become busier or to load yourself with religious obligations. Rather, it is an invitation into a relationship where you find rest for your soul, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. When you align yourself with me, you begin to experience joy unspeakable, a joy so profound that human language strains to capture its depth. This joy is woven into my glory, and as you live in my presence, you share in the splendor of that glory. I know that human hearts often wrestle with the tension between wanting control and being called to trust. You want to outline your future, plot your course, and understand every reason behind the events in your life. But when you cling to this sense of control, you burden yourself with anxiety and frustration. In contrast, I ask you to step forward in faith, acknowledging that my perspective is eternal and yours is not. My call is not for blind faith, but for a faith enlightened by the knowledge of who I am, the one who overcame death itself. If I can conquer the grave, then I can surely guide you through your daily trials, uncertainties, and questions. Even when you do not see how a situation can resolve, my hand is capable of unraveling complexities beyond your imagining. Resenting the unknown leads to bitterness. Bowing in wonder leads to worship. I invite you to marvel at the depth of my wisdom and knowledge, and to let that awe draw you closer to me. Your worldview may need room for mystery, and that is not a sign of intellectual weakness. Rather, it is the acknowledgement that I, your Creator, am infinite, while your mind operates within finite bounds. Think of how a child stands before the vast ocean, gazing at the endless horizon, both overwhelmed and captivated by its magnitude. Even in that moment of limited comprehension, a child can delight in the ocean's beauty, trusting that it is something good and grand. In a similar way, you can stand before the immensity of my ways, not having every answer, but assured that I am good. You may not piece together every puzzle of your life, yet your heart can be at peace, knowing the one who orchestrates each step. This posture of reverence opens your spirit to deeper encounters with me. Rather than being paralyzed by fear of the unknown, you find renewed hope that I work all things for the good of those who love me. I see your struggles, the moments when you feel torn between what you desire and what you know I'm guiding you to do. Sometimes you question whether you are capable of walking with me, of living according to my will. Let me assure you, I do not call you to accomplish my plans by the strength of your own limited resources. I do not look upon you with disappointment, waiting for you to fail. Instead, I invite you to connect your weakness to my strength, your inability to my sufficiency. When you embrace this partnership, life's heaviest loads become a shared burden, and even your harshest trials become opportunities for me to display my power within you. My grace is enough, and my resurrection life pulses through the corridors of your heart when you surrender to me. Instead of crumbling under your limitations, lean into my boundless capacity. This is the essence of learning to live in my presence. You might think of your life as a story with many chapters. Some chapters bring sorrow, others bring triumph. There are seasons when everything feels clear, and others when confusion seems to blanket your days. Through each chapter, I remain the same. The author of life, the resurrection, and the life who calls you from darkness into the brilliance of my presence. If you ever find yourself overwhelmed, remember that my resurrection is proof that the greatest obstacles, even death, cannot thwart my purposes. This is why I encourage you to keep your eyes fixed on me, to remain rooted in my word, and to be open to the workings of my Spirit. A life centered on me is a life sustained by hope, regardless of external circumstances, and hope anchored in eternity never disappoints. In your journey, you will encounter crossroads where you either choose trust or sink into resentment. You may want immediate clarity, but often I ask you to take steps of faith without showing you the entire path. I value your growth and the development of your character far more than mere convenience or instant gratification. If I solved every riddle the moment it arose, you would never learn the depth of my heart. By walking with me through uncertainty, your faith matures, your patience expands, and your love for me grows more intimate. Think back on moments when you faced challenges that appeared insurmountable. Did you not see my hand in hindsight, weaving a tapestry of grace you couldn't have imagined? Let those memories fuel your faith now. The same God who was faithful then remains faithful today. Some people live under the weight of believing they must understand everything to have peace. They treat each day like a puzzle they must solve completely before they can rest. But my peace is not a puzzle, it is a gift, flowing from my heart to yours. It surpasses understanding because it is rooted in my eternal being, not in your ability to piece together every detail of your life. As you choose to rest in my sovereignty, you discover that peace is not the absence of questions, but the presence of trust in the midst of them. This trust reshapes how you view every disappointment and curveball life throws at you. Even when your expectations crumble, my love remains constant, and my promises stand unshaken. Let me remind you that this world, in its current form, is not your final dwelling place. I have prepared a place for you in my eternal kingdom, where tears, sorrows, and uncertainties have no hold. Yet while you are here, I have called you to reflect my light. Whether in big or small ways, your life can testify to my resurrection power. When you share kind words, offer forgiveness, show patience, or stand firm in hope, despite adversity, you are showcasing my life. People around you who are weary from chasing hollow goals might see in you a beacon of something more substantial. They might be drawn to ask, how do you have peace when everything else is falling apart? Or, where does your joy come from? In those moments, you have the opportunity to point them to me, the source of all lasting life. I know how easily the eyes of your heart can wander back to earthly securities, to things you think you can control. It might be finances, relationships, career achievements, or even your own dreams of how life should unfold. While these are important aspects of existence, they cannot provide the life I alone can give. If you cling to them too tightly, you risk losing sight of my greater plan for you. I want you to enjoy your blessings, but not to be enslaved by them. It is when you open your hands and hold everything, your hopes, your possessions, your expectations, loosely before me, that you truly find freedom. This posture of surrender might feel vulnerable, but it places you in the safest possible hands, the hands that shape the universe. I look upon you with love, understanding your human frailty and every hesitation that tugs at your heart. I do not stand aloof, waiting for perfection. Instead, I gently guide you step by step, working in you both to will and to act in ways that align with my purposes. Even as your mind struggles to comprehend my methods, your spirit can learn to trust my character. You can trust that I am good, that I'm for you, and that I make all things beautiful in their proper time. Part of living in resurrection life is choosing to see beyond the immediate, to recognize that I weave your joys and sorrows into a divine masterpiece. Sometimes you only see the underside of the tapestry, a mess of threads and knots. But I see the beautiful design on the other side, and in eternity, you will witness the full artistry of my plan. I long for you to understand the depth of my compassion. I am not an indifferent observer of your struggles. I entered this world, subjected myself to human vulnerabilities, and triumphed over the grave so that you might have a living hope. My resurrection is not an event trapped in history. It's a living reality that can transform each day you walk this earth. By faith, you participate in that resurrection power, discovering that nothing, no fear, no failure, no adversity, can separate you from my love. When doubt rattles your soul, come to me. Pour out your anxieties, your anger, your confusion, and let me hold you in the shelter of my grace. You will find me a strong refuge, a shield in the storms, and a comforter to your weary heart. Some might question why suffering persists, even though I am the resurrection and the life. In the fullness of time, every tear will be wiped away. Until then, you live in the tension of a world still marred by brokenness. But take heart. I have overcome the world. The victory is already won, though you wait for its complete manifestation. Each act of compassion, each prayer, each moment of faith acts as a foretaste of the coming kingdom. You get to participate in my redemptive work, partnering with me to bring healing, hope, and renewal. This is why your life matters so deeply. You are more than a bystander. You are an ambassador of my resurrection life. When you start to believe that my ways are beyond tracing out, not as a cause for despair, but as a call to worship, your perspective begins to shift dramatically. No longer do you see yourself as a victim of fate or random chance. Instead, you recognize that I am carefully orchestrating history and your personal story toward a glorious conclusion. This realization kindles within you a deeper worship, one that is not dependent on momentary emotions or external validations. It is the worship born of gratitude, humility, and the awe of standing in my presence. You learn to delight in the mystery, knowing that I invite you closer, not to unravel it completely, but to walk hand in hand with me, the Infinite One. As you go through your daily life, make space for moments of stillness. Let these pauses become sacred times where you realign your heart with my presence. In these moments, quiet your mind. Let go of the urge to figure everything out, and simply rest in the knowledge that I am God, and I am for you. Let worship flow from a heart that trusts in my resurrection power and my boundless wisdom. This posture of surrendered worship is what sustains you when life's complexities threaten to overwhelm. It is here that you discover my peace, a peace that guards your heart and mind, a peace that transcends understanding. Remember, the life I offer is not a fleeting high or a short-lived spark. It is a consistent, enduring flame that lights your path, even in the darkest valley. Indeed, you will face trials, and at times, you may feel like you're walking through a furnace of affliction. But my resurrection stands as a declaration that the furnace does not have the final say. Fire refines gold, and tribulations refine your faith, removing impurities and drawing you nearer to my heart. By relying on my strength, you emerge from hardships more resilient, more compassionate, and more aligned with my perspective. I also encourage you to share this hope with those around you who dwell in despair or confusion. You need not preach at them or pretend to have every answer. Instead, live out the truth that I am the resurrection and the life by how you extend kindness, patience, and understanding. Be present for them, offering a listening ear or a helping hand, and let my light shine through your actions. Often, a single act of authentic love can speak more powerfully than any eloquent speech. This is how you can participate in my mission, by letting others see my life alive in you. As you continue to walk this journey, don't forget the power of gratitude. When you thank me for the ways I am working, even before you see breakthroughs, you align your heart with my kingdom. Gratitude shifts your perspective from dwelling on what's missing to celebrating what is present. My faithfulness, my love, and my sustaining grace. Rehearse my promises and meditate on the reality of my resurrection. Recognize that your life is held together by the same power that defeated death itself. In this awareness, small inconveniences lose their hold over you, and even larger trials become more manageable under the weight of eternal hope. You stand at the threshold of a profound invitation. I am calling you not to a life of bland religiosity or stifling legalism, but to a vibrant union with me, the very source of all life. Are you willing to step into this reality more completely? Are you ready to surrender your illusions of control and let me show you my grace, my wisdom, and my wondrous plan? Trust in me as the resurrection and the life. Relish the mysteries of my pathways, knowing they are rooted in love beyond human comprehension. Lay down your striving for worldly measures of success and instead embrace the unshakable joy found in my presence. For in my presence, you will find fullness of life that far exceeds your greatest expectations. If these words are stirring something in your heart, if you sense my spirit whispering that there is more for you to discover, I invite you to stay close to this channel of devotion and teaching. Subscribe to this channel so that together we can continue journeying toward a deeper knowledge of me the one who conquers death and gives life to the fullest. I stand with you, ready to illuminate every dark corner, to lift every burden, and to bring you into the glorious reality of my kingdom. Keep listening for my voice. Keep seeking my presence, and allow my resurrection life to become the animating force in your every breath. You were created for more than mere existence. You were made to walk in the radiant life I freely offer. Let me be your guiding light, your unfailing hope, and your eternal joy. Amen.